there. Today we're going to take a look at exercise 6.2 in our textbook, and I actually really enjoy this one. I think this has been one of my favorite exercises so far. Hopefully you enjoy it as well. It's a pretty cool little program about how you can use lists to save data, and let's take a look at how the program works. So I'm going to go ahead and run the program as is. I've got my command menu. One thing I notice, I don't like that there isn't like something that tells us that this is like our movie list program. So definitely want to add something to make that a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and put an L in, and you'll notice that there is validation. I cannot just get the command to run with L. I actually have to type out the entire word. So here we have a name of a movie and a year of a movie, and I can add a movie. So I'm going to go ahead and add Dead Poets Society, and that came out, I believe, in 1989. It gives me some nice confirmation that it was added. I'm going to do list, and so now I have 4 movies, and I want to test out the delete option. I can delete one. I'm going to delete On the Waterfront. It gives me some nice message there that it was deleted. I'm going to list again, and now I have 3 movies again. I'm going to go ahead and add that On the Waterfront back in. And again, that's 1954. And do my list. And here we go. Now you see that these are just outputting in the order of the list. It's not alphabetized or anything like that. So when we deleted On the Waterfront, it was actually the second item. We added one, and so when we re-add it, it's going to come in the 4th place. Okay, so that's pretty much what we have here. List, add, delete, and exit. And we get the little bye. Okay, so let's take a look at what we need to do in this activity. So what we want to do first is include a price column. So we're going to take a look at this code. So we've got the display menu. And like I said, I think I want to add something to make this a little bit nicer. And I believe I'm going to just call this the Fantastic List Movie Program. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to put that in there and include a blank line. Okay, so that will make me happy. Then I'm going to do this first thing with the year. I'm sorry, the price. So far we've got name, input name. Okay, this is to add year. So I want to take a look down here. This is my data so far, and you will see that there are multiple lists in here. So I first have Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and then On the Waterfront and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So I'm going to go ahead and add a value for these. This is $9.95, and this one is $5.59. Don't know where they're getting these from. Comma $7.95. Go ahead and put that one in there. And that is what we have for the prices. In order for us to add a new item, I also need to input a price. Go ahead and create this one, input price. And again, I want to do an append. So I'm going to go ahead and do movie.append price. And that looks good. When I output my movie for movie and movie list, so you might be a little confused by what's happening here. So again, we're setting our our counter, but this isn't really a counter. This is to create the numbers for the number of movies. So remember, our list starts at an index of 0, and so that's why we're starting with I equals 1, because the first element in that list is going to be a 0. So we're going to print the string value of I, so that's basically just going to turn it into a 1, and then we're going to put a period, and then we're going to go and grab the row 0, which is going to be the name of our movie, along with the year. That's our next item, and so we need to figure out how to add our price. So if we follow the same formatting here, it looks like in our book they want us to do like an @ sign. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to make this a little bit easier to see by breaking these apart. So this is going to be the 1 and the name of the movie, and then we're going to have the year of the movie, and this is the end of our output. So it's the end of our print statement. You see the little items, the little parentheses are lit up. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to have, let me just indent this a little bit, a plus, and I'm going to, they want us to have this at symbol, and then a plus, and we're going to do string row, this is going to be 2, it's going to be the next item, and I think that should work. So let's see if this works. Don't see anything else at the moment that is going to cause any issues with this. All right, so let's test this. Come over here. Let me start this one over. All right, so let's go ahead and list. So here we go. We've got our prices here, and that looks just like the book wants us. I've got my fantastic list movie program up there at the top, and let's try it to add one. I'll go back with my Dead Poets Society, 1989, and price $9.99. It says it was added. Let's see what the list says. Okay, so that looks all good to me. We have completed the first item, to include a price column. Nice. All right, and then the next one is to modify the menu to include a find by year function that will list all of the movies released in a certain year. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here. The easiest thing that we're going to do is add that to our menu. So print, let's do find movies by year. Okay, that part was easy. Now let's try and figure out how we're going to do this. We're going to have to build a new function. So right now we've got list, we've got add, we've got delete. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down here right before the main. Do my definition, find by year. And I'm going to send it the movie list because all of these other ones have sent it the movie list as well. And don't forget your colon, and the program will automatically indent for you. Okay, so first we want to do is ask for the year they want to search for. So we're going to do year equals int. Sorry, I hate that that pops up. I know you guys do too. We want to do an input and year. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so this is getting the input for the year they want us to search for. And what we want to do, because we want to find all of the items, where when you see that all, that means we're going to want to do a loop. Okay, so in order to do our loop, we're going to do a for statement for movie in movie list. So it's going to go through every single one. and we're going to look for, we're going to try to find a match with the year. Okay, so in order to match for the year, we're going to want to match this item in our list. Okay, so which item is this? The name is going to be the index of 0, so this is going to be an index of 1. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to look for if movie, the value of movie 1 equals what they've input, then we're going to print it. So we're going to do print. Now what is the name of the movie? That is going to be movie 0 as the index, and was released in the string version of year. Okay, so again, let me spread that open a little bit more. So if the movie, the value of what is in our list equals year. So why did I use movie and not movie list? So remember that for loop, everything that is in that particular item of the list is going to be stored into this variable. Now, if you remember what we've got here, this is a list of lists. So it gets a little complicated to wrap your head around that. This isn't just a list of, unrelated things. Each one of these is its own little list sitting inside of a bigger list. And you can tell that because we have these curly brackets on the outside. Curly brackets on the outside, and not curly brackets, square brackets on the inside, and these are all list values. So what we're doing is when we do this loop, we are taking everything from this item in our list, and we are taking a look at this value. If that value equals the year that the person has put in, then we're going to go ahead and print the name, which is movie 0, and output the year. So we're going to go through and check this if statement against every single item in here, but we're only going to print out the ones that have a match. Okay, so after that, I'm going to print a new line. So I think we are good here. It seems like there should be a lot more to this. This is the cool thing about Python. We're doing a lot without really coding a lot. So let me clear this, and then let's take a look at how this is going to work. Let me just make sure everything looks good. There's my list. All right, fingers crossed that this works. I'm going to find, oh, you know what? This is good debugging. We didn't do anything for that yet. So right here in the display menu, I did not do the while true. So I need to come down here and do put it before delete. Elif command equals find, and then we're going to call that function find by year. So find by year movie list. All right, that should be good. Let me stop this and run it one more time. Okay, so let's do find. What was that year? 1958, I think, is the year that we have 2 of them in it. So 1958. Oh, cat on a hot tin roof was okay. Let me check my list first. Okay, I only have one thing, so far that worked. Let's go ahead and add another item in our book. No, they don't have anything in our book. Oh, on the waterfront, 1954. Gone with the wind. Okay, let's just add something that I don't feel like going out and finding actual data at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my Dead Poets Society in here. 1989, the price $9.99, and I have no idea what other movie I can think of that was released in that. Some other movie, also 1989, and this one is such a good movie, it's only 99 cents. All right, so let me list. All right, so I have two things in 1989. This is the moment of truth. I'm going to press find, and 1989, and it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? That's very strange. Let me try this again, because it seemed like we put in 1954 and it's giving us that. Why would it not be giving us 1989? All right, let me take a second and take a look at this. Okay, so I have figured out what the problem was. Okay, so what's happening here, let me show you what I did. So how I troubleshooted this. The problem is that it doesn't seem that the find is working when I put in, when I add a new item to the list. I haven't been able to get it to work. So what I'm deciding to do is, for debugging purposes, I wanted to print out the list. So I'll show you how this is working. So I'll go ahead and run this. I'm going to add an item. So again, I'll stick with my same movie. 1989, price $9.99. Okay, so it's been added. I'm going to run my list, and everything looks fine. Everything's outputting fine, but I wanted to see why this wasn't working. So if I click find and I search for like 1975, it will tell me Monty Python and the Holy Grail was released in 1975. You see this because I wanted to output the value of my list, because I wanted to see if there was something different between how my movie was being input into the list versus the movies that were already in the program. So you see here, Dead Poets Society is sitting inside double quotes, whereas these other ones are sitting inside single quotes. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. But look what happens with my year. It says 1989, and all these other ones are just sitting here as integers. It's also the same thing with my price. It doesn't seem like the price is really having a problem because I'm not searching by price. But what's happening is when I'm trying to search, it's looking for the value 1989 as an integer, not as a string. So there's a few things that I could do here. Number one, if you take a look here, right here we have that if movie equals year. So that's where it's failing. So I've decided, okay, what if I come back into my year? Because right now I just have it inputting the year, which by default will input as a string. So I'm going to go ahead and put an int around this and force that to be to have a type of integer. So let me stop this and rerun it. I'm going to add my movie again, Dead Poets Society, 1989, $9.99. And now I'm going to click find 1989, and I'm still getting my debugging output, but here we go. Dead Poets Society was released in 1989. Very happy about that. So I'm going to go back to my find. I'm going to take this out and just put in debugging. All right, now I'm going to run this again, and I'm going to add two movies. So let's go back and add Dead Poets Society, 1989, $9.99. Add another movie to test, 1989, 0.99. All right, so now I'm going to list my movies, and here we go. All of my movies are here with 1989, and I want to make sure that those are going to output multiple. Ah, there we go. Dead Poets Society was released in 1989. Another movie to test was released in 1989, and we have that working. So that is very exciting. I would encourage you to play around with this and possibly add yet another field. Maybe you could add like a field for movie stars or something, starring, and maybe you can do a search on that, or just play, practice. The best way to learn, the best way to get your head around these things is to try to extend things on your own. And that is what I have done to try and learn. And when I put together the slideshow for the class, that's what I'm doing. All that sample code is me just kind of playing around with the information in the book and seeing how I can make things work and what I can do with those. And it helps me because then when I have a problem I need to solve and it says, hey, go ahead and do this, I have a better understanding of the syntax and what options I have in front of me to test, to try to get to work. So hope this all made sense. If it doesn't, I would say just do it again. Start over with your starting file and try and do this completely on your own and see if you can wrap your head around getting these things to work and feeling more comfortable with lists. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day.